Now the last couple of things that I wanted to show you, I'm going to do in a presentation style title sheet. Now there's no difference to what they are, it's just the look and the information that you've got on them. Please keep in mind that the information I'm showing you is about how to create the labels, not necessarily this is a beautiful title sheet. You can see I've started and I've stripped back a whole lot of information here. So I haven't got the text, I've just got the labels. So because it's a presentation, I just want to keep it really simple and I don't have quite as much information. For example, I haven't bothered putting the address on here. I do have the scale, the date, the sheet name, the client name and the project name. If you look closely, you can see that I've mucked around with the colour. So I've given it a different colour, and of course I've changed for a slightly different font style, just to something different. Now up here I've got line work. If I wanted to do something different to that, I might create a filled region, which gets used in detailing also. So a filled region is a closed loop with a hatch pattern inside of it, but I'm going to keep it and just make it as a solid fill today. So I'm going to call it solid blue. I'm going to give it a colour of the blue that I generated earlier. And the cut fill pattern for this situation, I just want it to be a solid fill. What I actually want it to look like is a fairly thick line, but I'm going to control how that looks. That's the illusion I'm going for. You can see it's currently got a line weight of 1. Up here, these are the lines that I'm drawing outside. So I'm going to use a thin line. No, I'm not. I'm going to use an invisible line, sorry, so that it just looks like a blue line. So if I create a rectangle, I'm going to get rid of that line shortly. I'm just going to make that 1 mil thick. So it's just a thickish line, but it's got a little bit more substance. That's all I need to do. So I use the rectangle tool, so obviously it's a closed loop. I could make this any shape that I wanted, of course. I could. Some people even trace logos and create logos this way. Okay, so as long as I close that loop, sorry, I was doing lines then. So I'll just keep using the same one. Okay, so you can see that that is now just a solid object with a filled hatch in between it. Because my text here is opaque, as in the text, but the background is opaque, and this one is transparent, you can see that this one puts a white background beyond it. Be careful if you're wanting to put, I'm just going to change this one to white, and by white I mean just the subtlest shade of off-white. Pure white will toggle between being black and white depending on the background that it picks up. So if I change this just ever so slightly, it'll be something other than pure white. And you can see that now I could do something fun like that if that's what I wanted to do. But sometimes I have had trouble in the past where the text has still appeared behind the region fill. Same with the images, which I'm about to do in a minute. I better change that back. I've just hit add because I created a custom color earlier, so that's now the same one that I can choose. I'm going to get rid of that blue line, so I just used a selection window because I knew that it appeared somewhere in there. Now the last thing I'm going to add is an image, and I want you to see how very easy it is to use. So a lot of you might have logos or pictures that you want to use. You can bring in virtually any image file except for PDF. So you can do that one of two ways. I can go insert an image and then navigate to where it's saved, or if I've already got Windows Explorer up and I prefer this one, you can see that I can just, in Windows Explorer, click and drag and drop. Oh, that's nice. I can rescale, so you can see the lock proportions are here, and I can just bring any image in and start to muck around. So you can export that from Photoshop or wherever you want as an image file, and then drag and drop that in. Now that's not quite the look I was going for. Maybe I should try something different. Okay, that's probably more appropriate. So I'm just going to resize, keeping the proportions locked again. Okay, line that up, pop it into position. And away we go. Now the last thing I want to mention is that some people, as far as a presentation sheet, really rather like to drag an entire coloured image behind it. I'll just see if I can find one quickly. Okay, so often presentation sheets, I'm just going to rotate that. Okay, so sorry, I've just selected the image, and then up here in my contextual tab I'm selecting rotate. So because it's a simple one, I'm just clicking where it is at the moment, where I'd like it to be. I could of course have popped something up here in the angle. If I unlock the proportions, I can stretch this out and muck around. Now this is fine, presuming that you don't want to pop anything over the top of it. So my recommendation to you is, if you want to do anything fancy with the background, as soon as you bring views over the top of it, it's going to clash and it's not going to work. And it may even look like it is working until it prints. Possibly if you've got a really good video graphics card, it might. But if you know what you're doing, I think it was much easier to jump into Photoshop or InDesign and just create a separate title or a cover sheet and export your images out rather than import in a title sheet like that. Have a terrific break.